Hello. So today I just wanted to do an updated planner video. I know that I had done an extensive video on my Leuchtturm 1917 DIY planner. I used this for months and I really enjoyed it, and I kind of like honed it down to what I wanted, and it was working out really well. There was nothing wrong with it. It was just I was on vacation and I got kind of bored with it and decided I wanted to try some other things. I did pretty much use it up until the end of December. And then I thought, well, like right around the end of December, I decided I wanted to try something else. My needs while I've been on vacation have changed as far as what I need in a planner. And a few things have happened that kind of made me want to go back to my Marion Smith. So I loved this planner when I used it. I had no problems with it. I just wanted to try something else, and so I did that. I find as long as I'm using undated things, I'm good because I can switch and I don't feel like I'm wasting anything. So over my vacation for about 7 days straight, I did I read The Magic of Tidying Up, and I actually went through my whole entire house, including all of my keepsakes and every single thing, and actually really went through the method, got rid of tons of stuff. And in doing that, there's a little story about something in here that I'll tell you, but I went through all of my planner stuff. And I sold one of my Franklin Coveys. I had sold my Inkwell press a long time ago. I gave my sister-in-law the other Franklin Covey I had, along with all the stuff that went with it, including the paper punch, because I realized that like a compact, a personal size is just not for me. I can't do that. I still have my Webster's Pages Color Crush in white, so if you're interested, please let me know. I will sell it to you very cheap. But then I had this left. So I had my Leuchtturm 1917 book that I was making myself. It's not a planner, it's just a grid notebook that I'm making into a planner. So if I never go back to it, I can use it for whatever I want, but I'm sure at some point I'll go back to it. It's already kind of crossed my mind a little bit. I also have two very old, like we're talking probably close to 8 years old, uncalendars, but they're undated. So I've got those, and the pages are interesting. They're small. They don't take up a whole bunch of room. I have used them on and off, so I kept those, and that was about it. And so that was one thing, just getting an idea of what I had, and I have all this undated stuff, having a change in schedule, wanting to try something new, or whatever, try something different. And then on my vacation, I've had so much time to watch so many planner videos that I've just gotten a lot of ideas. And I've also watched a lot of the subscription box unboxings of different things, and I have wanted some of those so badly. I don't know if I would even really use them as well as other people do, but you know, I love this kind of stuff, and so of course I want it. And I thought about a couple different ones. Marion Smith came out with one, and I seem to like pretty much everything she does. The one she came out with was beautiful. And I actually was going to buy it, and I put it in the cart, and like with shipping it was, I think, $53. And I live very close, I think, we at least live in the same state to where she is, where she's shipping from. So I was like, whoa, $53 for like some inserts and some stickers and stuff, and like having to pay that every month? No, thank you. So some of the other ones are cheaper. But what I decided was, I know exactly what I have. I'm going to go through everything that I have first, because it's all undated, and I have these things, so I want to use them up. I paid for them. They're taking up space in my home. So I'm going to use these, what I have. And if I continue to want to work in the Marion Smith, and I find that I have run out of inserts, then I may look into buying something like that, or buying a set of inserts and, you know, doing it that way. But for now, this is where I'm at. So a little bit of an intro to kind of explain what's been going on in my planner brain. So this is the Heart of Gold first edition, and it still is beautiful. I love the way it feels. The texture of the vegan leather is beautiful. It looks perfect. I had a couple of little spots on it just from it being on my desk, and it just washed right, or just came off with a little bit of soap and water, and so it's beautiful. It's pretty full at this point, but I have some inserts in there that I can remove, and so I will just show you kind of what's going on in my planner at this point. So this is what I've got going on. So this little card, this was the story that went with the magic of tidying up. On day 7, I was in my like little storage area of my house, and I had 7 keepsake boxes to go through. They were the absolute last thing I had to do, and that is what she says. She says save those for last, and I pretty much went through her method. I mean, I went like to the letter. And sorry, I'm distracted by my dog. Hey, Baxter, what are you doing? Get out of there. So along with this tidying up of our house, I rearranged quite a bit of our furniture, and got rid of a lot of furniture, and so the dogs are like, they're exploring the new space. So I'm sitting on the floor and I'm going through my keepsake boxes, and it was probably at that point like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm sitting on the floor. I am completely surrounded. I did exactly what she said and like took out everything, piled it up, and like I could barely move, and I was so tired, and I've been doing this for 7 days, and at that point I'm looking through all this stuff, like stuff, memories, right? And I'm so overwhelmed, so exhausted, that I'm almost on the point of tears, and I'm thinking in my mind, like, who cares? These are keepsakes. I can just put them back in the box, be done with this. Like, of course I want to keep my keepsakes, which isn't true. I went from 7 boxes to 2, so I was able to get rid of stuff. But as I'm sitting there thinking, I'm done, I'm just going to put it all in the boxes and call it good, literally at that moment, I found this in my stuff. And it's not like a religious thing. I believe that my grandma gave this to me when I was in high school. And it's just about not quitting. And so I looked at it and I read it. And of course I pulled it out and I kept it to put it in my planner, because if I put it right here like this, I can see this even when the planner's open. And I took it as a sign, like, not to quit, just do it. I finished that night. And it really did change my life. It's changed my husband's life and my pets' lives as well. So anyway, back to the planner. I have these little page markers. I believe I had showed you guys this before. I got them at my local bookstore, and they're so cute. And they came from peterpopper.com. Oh, hello. So I just keep those in there. Behind that, I just have coupons for the grocery store, because I do my meal planning and stuff in here, and so I have my coupons right here in case I need it. Back here, I just have some gift cards and like rewards cards that I don't really use very often, so they're gonna stay there. And one of my goals was to get my house cleaned out. I finished that already, which is really exciting because it was like done in the first week of January or something, second week of January. Another goal that I have is to pay off all of our student loan debt, and we want to finish that by the end of the year. And so I won't need these rewards cards because I didn't buy much. And in cleaning out my house, you really do realize like exactly what you have and how much you've got of it, and I realize I really don't need a whole lot. So in the little folder, or in the little sleeve, I don't have much. I have these came with the planner. They're little date seals. I had these from a long time ago that I had found in some other calendar, but I got these from the Humane Society, and they're just little calendar stickers. This came on my Webster's Color Crush, and I had used a few of them, so I just took it out of there and I put it into here. These are so weird. When I show my Webster's Color Crush, I go over how strange some of those are. Then also, when I was going through all of my like art stuff, I found a little like make your own calendar kit that I had purchased like forever ago, probably like 8 years ago, and it had these these calendar stickers in it, like for different holidays and stuff. And so I pulled it out of there, and I thought I can use those in either, any planner that I'm using. So I just have a few little things in there. I don't always use them. I don't always remember that I have them, but they're there. Then I have this card, and I had this in my planner the last time. This one came out of my Inkwell Press planner, but I liked it. It matched. It was gold, and Don't Stop Dreaming. That's a good message, right? And then I have my dividers. So my dividers are the same, except I changed weekly to daily for now. It'll probably go back to weekly. It will go back to weekly. And then I still have monthly, health, budget, list, info, and then I've added a goals tab. Another reason why if you're hearing noises, it's my dogs playing. Another reason why I wanted to go back to my Marion Smith stuff, and if you're a pen person, you will understand this, I think. In my Lloyd's-Term 1917, because my spreads were so compact and so tiny, I was only able to use like really fine point gel pens and ballpoint pens. And I was really missing my fountain pens, and I was missing my Retro 51s, and I don't know if you saw, but I have in here, it's perfect, it fits perfectly, and it looks so beautiful, my Twinkle. And I really wanted to be able to use these, my pens, you know, my fountain pens and my Retro 51s that I missed. And so that was another reason that made me want to go back into the Marion Smith. Are you just tearing it up? He's tearing it up. He went on a nice long walk, and now he's all ready to tear up the world. And so the Marion Smith paper takes like any pen, any marker, any highlighter, whatever. And the Lloyd's-Term, it'll take this ink, but in the size boxes that I was writing in, I mean, it was like overwhelming to the boxes, and they're just too big. So that was another motivation for me to go back to Marion Smith, the inserts anyway, because the paper would allow me to use my beautiful Twinkle. And it just looks perfect in this planner. So looking at my monthly spread, I'm still using a little Martha Stewart tab to go directly to the month, but this was the same monthly spread that I had used before in the Marion Smith. It just came, it was undated. I wrote it out with my Retro 51, and I saw it kind of looked overwhelming because it's such a thick line, and so I decided in the next month to use a different pen. But this is what it looks like. I put in a couple little stickers trying something like that, but just starring like certain things, but you know, not like too big into planning or too big into decoration. And so then here's February, and even though it's completely filled in with what I have now, it looks so much more like clean than January, and I think it's just the different pen. The Retro 51 lays down a really heavy line, and it can be overwhelming. So this I did with my Inkjoy minis, and I think it looks really nice because it's like I can read it. It's not like, whoa, there's a lot on that page. And that's all I have as far as monthlies go. And then I have this little card. This came with the planner just as a sample, and so I have each month any kind of forward planning that I have that I've already like made appointments for or whatever. This is how I deal with having an undated planner that is like some people have an issue with that because they think, well, what if I have an appointment that's in May and we're in January? Well, I have those, right? But I haven't created those spreads. I just list them on a piece of paper, and this is kind of what I was doing in my DIY planner. I just had a little monthly calendar that I was writing things down. So this is where I just write things down that I don't want to forget in the future, and as I make my spread, I add them to it. I check off, you know, what's on here, add it to the spread, and then I move this little piece of paper to the next month. And then I just have cards for future appointments that have already been scheduled, and I just paper clip them right to this little piece. So that's my monthly spread section. This is just the back side of an old spread. This was my weekly section. Now it's my daily section. And Marion Smith did send a pack of daily inserts that I didn't want to use. I wanted to design my own, so I got this little like idea that I'm going to design my own inserts because I had like designed my own planner and all that, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the whole process. And so I had purchased from her just blank, she sends you some of this, and I purchased another pack of just blank paper that has the floral strip on it. And so I used these and I printed on these. Then after doing that, I went back and I looked at the dailies, and I worked out a way that I could use those daily pages if I want to do like a daily spread again. It's not exactly like the one I designed, but it would work. So I saved this 2015 page because it has important dates on it. And this was the old spread that I was using. This was the weekly spread, so this was from like May 25th. Then this is the daily. So I tried using some stickers. I don't know. I'm not really like a sticker, too much of a sticker person. But this is basically what my daily spread looked like, and I'll show you one that's not as filled in, so you don't have to look at the overwhelm. But you see I'm able to use my Retro 51, I'm able to use a nice fountain pen, and I'm able to use my glitter highlighters in here to highlight things that are done, which I really enjoyed, because I haven't been able to use my glitter highlighters in the Lloyd's term. They're kind of wet for that paper. And so these have been my spreads. So because I've been on vacation, I've had time to like play in my planner and things like that. You see some days are more full than others. It just depended, you know, but this was enough. Like, I didn't have to get an idea of what was going on for the week. I really could just look one day at a time because I was on vacation, so it wasn't that crazy. And so this was yesterday, and so here I have my page marker, and yeah, so I will show you just like a little bit of a setup for the next day. So what I do, and you'll see this on a blank, is I have made a space for the temperature to draw the weather, the day of the week, the date, and the moon phase. But then I'll show you the rest on a more blank piece of paper. So I printed out, and I didn't even really like think about this, but I actually printed out exactly enough for the month of January. And so I decided I'm just going to use them through the month of January, finish up the month on dailies, because work, even though it's going to start for me tomorrow, is for the first week and a half, it's not like super intense. It is, but it isn't. And then it will get crazy like come February, and so that's when I'm going to want to have like a weekly spread, because I really will want to see like a week all at a time, all at one time. So this is just all the way through the end of January, which I filled in from my monthly calendar. There's a bill to pay at that point. Take that out. And then I will just show you like January 31st, because this is pretty much blank. So this was the planner insert that I designed, and this was after watching a ton of planner videos and kind of taking some notes, and I was like, oh, I like that idea, I like that idea. And this would be for like a daily, right, where I have time on vacation. I don't think that I would do this every single day. Maybe, but I doubt it. Or I know I wouldn't do all of this every day once work gets back into the full swing of things. I always did a little bit of gratitude stuff, so I probably will still do that, but I have a box. So again, up here for temperature, weather, day, date, and moon phase. And then I have, today I'm grateful for, meals, school, so anything I have to do for my job, exercise, this is to track my cycle, events, so these would be like actual scheduled or timed things, and just general to-dos that I need to get done. My daily journal, some notes, and what I hope for tomorrow. So again, I got these ideas from other people and some of my own ideas. Couple things I wouldn't probably do. Well, I was actually doing almost all of this in the Lloyd's term, just on a smaller scale. One thing though that I thought about dailies is I am not going to be a person that will archive these. I'll probably just throw them away. So I don't know if there's really a point to having a little daily journal, just because I'm not going to have it in a bound book anywhere. At least with the Lloyd's term, I have it in a bound book. But it was kind of nice just to do a little recap of the day and leave it at that. So that's what I was using, or that's what I've been using for my vacation. And then once February hits, I'm going to go back to the weekly spread. And so I have set up the planner. I had some time and I enjoyed it very much, so I've set up the planner for the month of February. And then during February and at the end, I'll evaluate, do I want to keep it or not, because I may just want to, you know, start something different, do my own thing, I don't know. But I used this for a very long time and it worked. It's just not as boxed out and organized out as my own personal one that I created. But that doesn't mean I couldn't do that to these boxes if I didn't want to. So essentially what I did is I just used my little, it's in gold so it's hard to see on camera. Here, this one will probably be easier. But I used my little girl day of the week stamps, and I stamped those, and I used some stamps to stamp the dates and the month up there. And then I've just filled in what I already had on my monthly calendar. And I've been using these little like planner stamps. I think you can see that as a little like trash can, and I have little like banners and like a little present and a little dollar sign, a little scale. So these are planner stamps that Marion Smith sells. And so I just had fun like stamping in those, and I had stamped previously. So I have February done. Lots of car registration things happening in February. So I have all that paperwork like already just laying in here. And I have finished up February, and that's all I have in there. So like I said, I'll evaluate at that point if that's something that I want to continue. The next section is for health, and I had found an article, 10 things you should do before 10 a.m. The idea of it was pretty cool, so I wrote it out, and I put that list in here. Then behind that, I have a record of weight loss, weight gain, and some like exercise stuff that I was keeping track of when I was thinking I wanted to do like a 5K, train for 5K. But I had a pretty severe injury over the summer and was on crutches, and it still hasn't healed. So I don't know if that's such a good idea, but I still have the little training guide. And then beyond that, I just have this ledger paper that came with it. I just have the blank paper in that section. Oh, I have a couple little things up there. Huh. Oh, that was, yeah, this is like old stuff. But I didn't throw away the paper because I have so much of the paper left, like, I can still use it. In the budget section, I just have, I'll just put my hand on it. It's so weird to me that people don't show, I guess, I don't know. It's not weird. So I just have this little piece of paper that came with the planner, and I have my recurring bills on there that never change, like my auto insurance and that kind of thing. And then I have budget information here. Since then, I have created a budget using Google Sheets that, so my husband can access it too, and like I said, one of our goals is to pay off student loan debt and be completely debt-free at the end of this year. That's the last big lingering debt. And so we're really trying to like actually stick to a budget, see where our money is going so we can make better decisions. And I think we're going to get there. Then I have a list section. And this has just some meals that I know my husband generally will like. This was a list of pen pals, and I have totally neglected that. I have been a horrible pen pal. And I think that people that do pen paling though like tend to understand that it's like it goes in phases, and I don't know, hopefully they understand, but if not, I apologize, and I will get back to it at some point, but it's life, right? Life happens. I have some gift ideas. Some of them I've already bought, some of them I still have as ideas. I have pet information here. These were some ideas for videos of pens that, and yeah, mostly pens that I can do, or things that people have asked me to do, and I'm just not very good at consulting this list. As you can see, I could make a ton of videos without buying anything, and this was a list I'd made a long time ago. Then I have just a couple of to buy things, and this is actually pretty old. This came with the planner, and I haven't really done a whole lot with that since then. It's just still there. These are things that I'd like to add to my emergency kit. I had posted an emergency kit kind of thing on here before, and since then we've been building the kit, and we have a lot more, and these were some ideas. I reused the paper, so like I had some goals for 2015, and since the paper kind of looks the same on the front and the back, and it's so nice, I just flip it over and reuse it, right? No sense in throwing it away. This was some Midori insert information that I had done. I didn't feel like looking it up again, so I just kept it. Then the info section, I can show you some of it, but probably not most of it. I use this kind of as a dashboard, and so I'm keeping track of like some information with our dog's insulin and like car repairs and things like that on this. I just put those post-its there. I'm taking an online art class, and so she gave us a copy of the calendar, so I just printed it out for each month, and I'm highlighting in or coloring in like as I'm doing each lesson. Pretty excited about that. So that's just a calendar. And then these are the notes I actually took on the magic of tidying up. I pretty much summed it up in 7 pages for myself. And I'm glad that I did that, because as I was in the thick of it, I would just kind of reference this and go through, and it was very sequential. And since then, several people have asked for copies of my notes, because I don't know if they don't want to read it or they need some notes. So I've kept this. I'll probably get rid of this soon, but it's here for now. That's probably the last thing I can show in the info section, because the rest of it's just personal information. I have a schedule for a yoga center that I'm going to go to. I have some business cards, some prescription information, mostly prescription stuff, and a few more business cards and that kind of thing. So nothing that's really, you know, on a need to see type of thing. I even have in here for my sewing machine the type of needle that I need, and I've actually taped in like the old needle so that I know exactly what to ask for. The next section is my goal section, and this one is new. And so I've listed a few things here that I wanted to actually like plan out as far as goal setting, and so I've done 2 of them. I still have 2 to go, and one of them that's not even on this list was tidy up my entire house, and I've already done that, and so I don't even have to plan for it, which is really cool. So I made these inserts, and I made them from combining stuff that I saw on the internet, stuff that I had in previously used planners, and I just made all of my own goal setting stuff. And I've actually shared this with several people that have asked. So the first part is just like starting out with brainstorming. What do you wish you'd stop doing? What do you want to start doing? This kind of thing. So again, I didn't come up with these prompts. That a lot of these I just pulled from different sources, and then I just kind of compiled everything into what I thought would be helpful to me. Some more brainstorming, and then this came from another thing, was talking about SMART goals in different areas of your life. And then this I created from a few different charts, and it's like, what is a SMART goal? So as I was making these goals that I planned out, I would go through like each thing here and make sure that I could check it off. Yes, this applied. It meets this criteria. And then you know it's a SMART goal. And what I like about SMART goals is the way that they are worded and created ensures that you have a time frame and you have measurable outcomes, so that you know you are making progress towards, or you have met that goal. And I talked about that in my goal setting video. So this is one, and I created this, and I basically combined a bunch of different action plan pages that I found just after I did a Google search, and I combined them to make my own, what I thought would be the most helpful to me. And so I would do a rough draft of like writing out my goal on a separate sheet of paper. I would go through the chart. Does it meet this criteria? Then I would like hone that. I would revise that goal so that it actually met the criteria of a SMART goal. And then I would write it here, and then start filling in these boxes, like why is motivation, or it's important because, obstacles, benefits to achieving this goal. Sorry, I'm distracted by the noise I'm hearing outside. Needed to achieve this goal, resources, routines and habits, and then steps. And so this process for me is very helpful, because it makes it concrete. It gives me a plan of action, right? So here is another one that I have, and I actually didn't know what further steps I would need beyond this, so I have a little note: update when completed above steps, because once I'm done with these, then I'll probably know where I need to go from there. But until I get here, I don't even really know what the next step would be. I have some blank ones back here, and then I created this as well, and this is checking progress towards your goals. And so I have a little sticky in my calendar that at the end of each month I'm going to print off a monthly reflection sheet that I've created that's not in here because I'm not at the end of the month and I don't need to reflect just yet. But I will do that, and I will put that at the end of the month, or maybe in this section. And that monthly reflection sheet is just that reflection about what did I learn, what did I do, and essentially like asking me what is my progress towards my goals? Am I working in the right direction? Now that I'm looking at this and thinking about the goals that I wrote, this I did before I wrote those goals, I may need to change some of this up here because I didn't necessarily feel the need to create a goal in each of the 8 areas that one of my resources was saying you should. I just decided I need to create goals that are going to fulfill me. And so I may need to change my document up here, but this was to keep track of the progress towards those goals, just so that I can see, am I actually doing something to make that progress? Beyond that is a blank divider, and I just have some blank paper. Not very many pages. Beyond that is, I think this was supposed to be like a dashboard. I'm just using it at the back so that my paper, when it folds up, it stays unbent, stays flat. And then back here I have a little notepad, and I was just keeping like things I needed at the grocery store on there, and since I've used one side and this was for a different store, I just flipped it over and I've been using it for another store. Behind that, I have these little cards, and these came with the planner as samples, and they're super cute. And you see in my planner I've used a few of them, and I still have some more to use. So they're just there for when I need it or want it. And then back here in this pocket, I have another card that came with the planner just as a sample, that I haven't felt the need to use yet, but it's there should I want to use it. And that is my planner setup for January and February. And who knows, after February, or maybe, well, I'll stick with it for February because I've already set up the pages, but after February, who knows, I may be in this, I may be in my Lloyd's term. I know I don't have enough inserts for the whole entire year for my Marion Smith planner, since I did use it for, quite a few months last year. So I'm not sure what I'll do. I may get a subscription kit. I may continue to make my own inserts and print them. I may draw them up in my Lloyd's term. I just don't know. But the fun of all of it is that I get to be creative, and I get to come up with tools that help me to manage my life and what I need to get done to organize myself and be creative. And if everything is undated, then I don't feel like I'm wasting anything because I haven't used it, or it's been put by the wayside for a while. So I've really enjoyed that, and I feel like I've got enough workarounds that I can definitely work in an undated planner with no problem. So I hope that you found this useful. I hope that you're inspired either by me or somebody else out there to get yourself organized and find what works for you. I had said something to the vegan organizer that there's like no shame in changing what you're doing because it's a hobby and it's all about finding out what works best for you. And as life changes, our needs change, and so we shouldn't be afraid to like change our planning system, so long as we can keep track of everything and nothing gets lost in the shuffle. So I hope you are having a beautiful day, and I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye.